I will find my bear. Reflections. I'm in my hometown of Brantford. That's Brantford. That's over there. I used to live in an apartment building that used to be right there. So it was torn down years ago. Okay, I found out that my video I posted on the Pearson Airport when I landed in Canada about a week ago is no good. Apparently it's hard to watch, so I'm gonna do it again for my Africa trip. So I was in Africa for 62 days starting in October. Let's see, I went to 12 countries: Morocco, Egypt, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa, and Mozambique. Except for South Africa and Egypt, I had not been to any of those countries, so that was 10 new countries for me. So I just want to say a few things about each country. Morocco, first stop. Casablanca was a bit of a disappointment, I guess because I hyped it up so much, because I love the movie Casablanca. But yeah, it's see the mosque in Casablanca is one of the largest in the world, but that's about it. My favorite part of Morocco was Chef Sharam, which was a blue tile city. When you go there, go to the top of the church, and you will see a beautiful sight. It looks like a blue and white marble, blue and white painting in front of you. So yeah, it's a great view. So Morocco is definitely worth visiting. Egypt I've already been to before. We went there because Noemi has not been there. So we saw the pyramids, we got stuck in Alexandria. I finally saw the Library of Alexandria, so that was quite nice. And then we went off to Ethiopia, which was the favorite part of my trip, because the hyenas of Harar. It's a 10-hour bus ride from Addis Ababa, which is the capital, and when you get there, seek out the hyena man. You pay him a few dollars and you can feed these semi-domesticated hyenas. So these hyenas are actually wild animals too. You can feel their power upon them, because I was feeding one of them and it put its paw on my shoulder. I could feel the power behind it. I knew it could kill me if it wanted to. So there is a legend on the hyenas of Harar. Centuries ago, the hyenas were attacking the villagers in Harar. So the king of Harar went out into the mountains, to the caves where the hyenas were lurking, and met with the head hyena. They struck a bargain, saying at sundown, the village will always feed the hyenas. They can come into town and they're fed butcher bones and scraps of meat. So that was a legend. The true story is likely at least 60 years ago, they started feeding hyenas that came into the town to keep them from attacking livestock. And they still do it to this day. It's the same family that feeds the hyenas. So that's the hyenas of Harar. And next stop was Kenya. Nairobi was very expensive, almost European level pricing too. But we did see giraffes, elephants in the elephant sanctuary, and the giraffe area as well. So it was quite a nice experience. We fed the giraffes and the elephants. The elephants were actually the baby ones, so they're found as abandoned or lost animals, and they're taken to this sanctuary where they're rehabilitated. After a few years, when they turn 3 to 5, they're reintroduced to herds in the wild. So Nairobi is definitely well worth seeing. And our next stop was Tanzania. We didn't do much here. We went to Moshi, which is the base of Kilimanjaro, and then we took a Kilimanjaro day trek up to Day 1 camp, and then we went back down. Noemi twisted her ankle, so that was the only thing that went wrong with that trip. But yeah, so that was Kilimanjaro. It's nothing worth visiting, but we didn't have the money or the time to go to do the full 6-day hike. So next stop was Uganda. We wanted to do the gorilla trekking, but as it turns out, that's $1,500 US, and you have to book well in advance, so we had no opportunity for that. So we ended up going to the Nile River camp and going to the source of the Nile and taking a boat ride. So it's very interesting being at the source of the Nile. The water that's there right now, 2 months later, it appears in Alexandria and goes into the Mediterranean. So that was Uganda. Next stop was Zambia. Zambia is having some electrical issues right now, so there were frequent blackouts or load shedding, they called it. So Lusaka wasn't really much. We just flew into it. Then we took another flight to Livingstone. If you were in Lusaka, you want to fly to Livingstone, fly on a Tuesday, because Pro Zambia has a $60 Canadian ticket, so it's quite cheap. Livingstone, that is a source of the Victoria Falls. So we went to see Victoria Falls. Noemi did some whitewater rafting. I went up to the falls. It's not much to see right now because it's dry season, but we did go over the bridge of the Victoria Bridge into Zimbabwe, and we were able to see the falls much better there. We met our friend Grace at the border. That's where I almost got arrested. You're not supposed to take pictures or videos of the border. I was taking a video of our reunion, and when an undercover cop grabbed me, I said, "You can't do that, sir. I don't want to arrest you." So I put the video away. So that was Zambia. This is where, and that was Zimbabwe. And this is where Zambia is where we met our tour. So we did a Acacia tour, 19 days from Livingstone in Zambia, all the way to Cape Town, South Africa. So first stop was Botswana, and the famous Chobe National Park. We saw 4 of the 5 big 5 animals, like hippos, elephants, lions. So yeah, it was a very great view. We did the boat ride as well. We did not see a leopard. Those are the hardest to find because they're quite hidden in the tree, but it's still well worth seeing the Chobe National Parks. And after that, we went to Namibia, in the deserts of Namibia. 80% of the country is desert, and you can see how desolate it is as we drive. And you can feel how bumpy the ride is as well. So that was Namibia. And then we went south into South Africa. Cedarburg, South Africa. That's where we had a wine tasting. And so yeah, it's a beautiful countryside there. And the wine was quite good. If you're there, try the African Ruby wine. So that was quite tasty. And after that, we went to Cape Town, which is a very touristy city, but it has a beautiful view. And we went to the car and went to the Cape of Good Hope, which is about 90 minutes south of Cape Town. And we saw ostriches. We didn't see a turtle, and various birds and seals as well. So it was a beautiful view, and it is windy out in the Cape of Good Hope. And after that, we went to Boulder Beach, where the penguins hang out. And so you can, there are hundreds of penguins there. You can't really touch them, but you get pretty close to them because they build a bridge over their nesting spot. So it was a great view there too. And our last stop of the tour was Mozambique. We flew into Maputo, not much to do in the town, but then we went to Inhaka Island, which is just off the coast of Maputo, about 3 hours by ferry. And we saw the Portuguese island, which is a small island off the coast of that island. Beautiful beach. A lot of people were there because of the cruise ships dock there. And we were going to see the marine biology lab. Unfortunately, and this is the strangest part, it's a museum, but the director of the museum apparently got drunk last night and did not show up. He was basically passed out, and he's only had the key to the museum, so we didn't get to see that. After that, I flew home, 23 hours, Maputo to Addis Ababa to Dublin, Dublin to Toronto. That was the end of my trip. So I am in Canada for the next few months to rebuild my funds. Then I'm off to my next trip. Maybe the Caribbean, maybe the Pacific Crest Trail, maybe the microstates of Europe. I'm going to do a video shortly about the remaining countries I have to do, and I'll see you all later. Bye.